I'm Carly. I want to start by saying thank you for the opportunity to be a part of your team. I'm very excited to start. After taking a look at my roster, I decided to do some research on the community of Madisonville and the district and schools themselves. I found that Madisonville is a very small town, obviously, that's very racially diverse. There's a high Hispanic population, probably due to the jobs that are provided by the mushroom factory. Madisonville district has an enrollment rate that has gone up steadily over the past 3 years, which is fantastic. And the graduation rate is at a whopping 96%, and the dropout rate is at 0.1%. That's fantastic. Madisonville High School, the building is very easy to navigate, having only one floor. The 4 grades altogether total about 610 students, so it's a very small number of students for the school, which is great. The English class size average is about 15 students, which for the teacher means that there are a lot less students in the class, and it's a lot easier to reach all of your students. I looked on the website at the school, and I saw that the mission statement is to ensure that each student learns to his or her maximum potential, which is great, and obviously as a teacher I completely agree with that and will strive to make that happen. After looking at my roster, I saw that I have 2 dyslexic students in my class. In an English class, students with dyslexia may have difficulties reading or writing. In my class, I will allow dyslexic students to have more time. I will make sure that there are colored overlays available to them. I will use oral and written instructions so they have the biggest chance of understanding the material that is in front of them. And I have found that a technique that works is saying the instructions to the students and having them repeat them back to you. That just shows that they understand what's being said and what's being asked of them. Also, whenever possible, I will allow my students to use computers because that's just easier to work with for a dyslexic student. Also, I will never put my dyslexic students on the spot to answer questions because I know that it's harder to think on the spot like that. And whenever possible, in place of written activities, written assignments, I will allow other projects such as posters, oral presentations, collages, anything like that. Also on my roster were 3 special ed students, 2 of whom are learning disabled, 1 is physically disabled. To ensure the success of my special ed students, I'll accommodate them by having pre-made copies of the class notes for them to follow along with. And that goes for any student, really. I think that having pre-made notes will allow them to follow along through the class and not have to worry about finding the important parts or making sure they write this down because it's already in front of them, and that way they can just follow along and get the most out of what's being actually said to them without having to worry about making sure they have everything written down. I will give course and lecture outlines so they know what's coming in advance, and I'll allow my special ed students to have extra time on assignments if they need it. And I will allow my special ed students to have an option of being given an assignment in advance if they need to. So then they can have extra time or not, just depending on how long it takes them. Also, for my special ed students, along with my dyslexic students, I will try to provide as many audio aids as possible. Really, any student learns not better, but it might be easier for them to understand something if they can hear it and see it. Also, for the physically disabled student, I will make sure that everything is easily accessible to her. I'll have an outlined area on the back of the wall for the students to put their bags and stuff so There won't be any chance of her running into things on the floor or anything like that. I also have 3 gifted and talented students. I am very aware that GT students tend to be highly self-critical. They get bored very easily, and they tend to master concepts very quickly. I will make sure that my GT students are engaged by asking them many questions during the lessons. I'll provide an escalated objective for them as well, and I'll give them options for extension activities whenever they're done with the classwork for that day and for that lesson. Since they do master the technique so quickly and they usually finish their work really quick, I'm going to make sure that I have activities set aside for them to go do and manage on their own, so I don't have to be there standing over their shoulder making sure that they're working and getting everything done properly. I can just send them to the extension activity and trust and that they will be doing something pertaining to the activity that we've done in class. I have 3 ELL students in my class as well, and I do know that these students may feel uncomfortable and very concerned with learning both verbal and nonverbal communication. Usually the spoken language is learned before the written languages, and being an English teacher, I know that the students a lot of times will struggle with writing things down the way that they should be written and not spoken. So I will help to make them feel more comfortable and at ease and give them a better chance of success by having them sit in the front where they can pay attention better and where they can see me and hear me clearly. I will assign them a buddy in class who is a strong student to kind of help them. I mean, the student, their buddy, will not be given a lot of responsibility, only to answer simple questions and just try to help them out whenever necessary. I will use as many pictures and visual aids as possible so that they can make the transition from simply another language to English. I want to try to bridge that gap and make it as easy and comfortable as possible for them. And for all of the students together, the ELL, the dyslexic, the special ed, and the GT students, I will make sure that my classroom is a place that has structure and balance and is routine, something that is very predictable, and they don't have to guess what they're walking into every day. They know that I will be there for them to talk to, and I love them and care about them, and I will make it as inviting and comfortable of an environment as I can. So that's how I'll accommodate all the different learners in my room. And again, I am so excited to start on Monday.